Hi guys, this is Cece here from Cece Sharing Space. In this space, we share views and information on self-development and relationship building. Please subscribe to my channel and click on the notification button and to receive notifications for the new videos. And also, don't forget to click on the like button. Enjoy, thank you. Hi guys, thank you once again for tuning into my video. I would like to just speak about the respect concepts I started on my previous video on how to respect a man and the importance of respect in terms of a relationship. Okay, as we spoke about in the previous video, men are different to women. Men want to be shown love differently. Apparently, according to the research in terms of what men expect in relationships, men want respect. That's how they view love, you understand? They view love as in terms of respect because that's the basic, because they're not like emotional beings like women. Men want to like, how do you treat me? How do you address me? How do you address me in public with friends when we're friends? How do you treat me personally when we're in the bedroom alone? How do you treat me when we're with family, especially with our children? All those things. So men are a little bit more different than women in terms of what they define as love, right? So I spoke about the different techniques we can use as women to show our men respect. Okay, I spoke about demonstrating trust. Trust is very important in a relationship, and without trust, you cannot have a relationship, especially a romantic relationship or even a committed relationship, which ends in a marriage. So we need to demonstrate trust. You need to be mindful of your communication techniques. Most people need to go do research on what it means to speak to your man with respect and how to speak in a very constructive manner. This is what I have been also learning in my marriage and relationship. So we need to learn how to communicate more effectively, and also in most cases we're using selfish language like I all the time. So there's other ways, and you can actually speak to your man without always using I, because remember, the relationship is now, it's about two people. The marriage is about two people now. It's about we, not about I so much, right? So then another myth that I spoke about is to be reliable and accountable, right? Meaning being having integrity. And this is a big thing because people lie a lot, especially in relationships. Oh, I lied to him because I don't want to hurt him. Men normally say that a lot. I lied to her because I don't want to hurt her. At the end of the day, you're actually showing that you don't have integrity. So women need to understand that a man doesn't like to lie, although most men lie. They don't want to be lied to. So if you love your man and you want to keep your man, use integrity as a way of you binding your relationship. Use truthful language. Be reliable, accountable, and be truthful. Right? Then I also spoke about encouraging time apart. If you alone without your man, it doesn't mean he has stopped loving you. If your man spends time with his family and friends, it doesn't mean that he has stopped loving you. There's a time for everything. And there's a time that he wants to be with his inner circle. Before he met you, he had an inner circle. He had his friends, his family, his relatives. He had his inner circle. So he meets you now, and he marries you, and you'll start this big, wonderful life together, right? You're just a small component of his inner circle. So you need to understand that you don't have to be friends with all his friends. This is what I've noticed in most relationships with younger couples. They tend to want to be friends with all their man's friends. This is what I've learned myself. And I kind of wanted that when I first got married. That I want to be friends with all my husband's friends. And it's not necessary, it doesn't have to be like that. Because now you're together, you can make new friends and make new relationships and develop now another inner circle within your usual inner circle. Because remember that you as a female, as a woman, you have your own inner circle before you met your husband, before you met your mate, before you met your spouse. So now, that inner circle doesn't have to disappear. That inner circle is still very important to you. So it's a matter of you keeping a balance and him keeping a balance. So spending time alone with the other people in your lives is fine. And then you'll just schedule time together. So I spoke about that in the previous video. And then also I touched on appreciating your differences. This is where the problem comes in most relationships. They don't want to accept that my man is different. He likes chocolate and I like milk chocolate. He likes dark chocolate. I like milk chocolate. It's not a deal breaker. Most people don't understand it. In relationships, small matters don't have to be a deal breaker. So he prefers Islam and I like to be Christian. I'm a Christian. I believe I was brought up in Christianity. He was brought up in Islam faith. That doesn't have to be a deal breaker. If you love each other, you want to be together. Religion shouldn't be a problem because it's a difference. That's all it is. You need to come together now and discuss the way forward, how you're going to continue in your marriage, in your relationship. Now you're married and maybe you're going to have children. So now the big thing is that you need to have a religious life. You need to choose a religion. There's a very few families that decide, okay, we'll teach our children about Christianity and we'll also teach them about Islam. And then later in their lives, we will then give them a choice to either become Muslim or become Christian. That gives the children a choice. So you too can continue whatever you're believing in, or you can decide that, okay, the woman's going to become now a Muslim or a Christian, whatever. It's up to the two people sitting together. People make a big mistake by involving their family members into these type of decisions. Family members like your mother, your sisters, your brothers. What about your partner's mothers, sisters, and brothers? What about their opinions? So all this causes a lot of conflict. Because again, like I've said before in my previous videos, that your family members will always have you at heart. They will always backing your interests, not your husband's, your spouse's interests. And that's very unfair. That's why you'll need to sit down together as a couple and discuss these things and about the differences, because differences are very good as well. That's what makes you unique. That's what makes your relationship even more interesting. So it doesn't have to be a deal breaker. Okay, then I also spoke about getting to know yourself. So getting to know yourself meaning now, remember that when you're in a relationship, you're not only getting to know that person, you're getting to know yourself, because each time your partner, your spouse, your husband, your wife does something, you react in a certain way. So you get to learn more about yourself, that this is the perception I have. I didn't know I had this perception because this man of mine did something and I reacted in a certain way. So that's getting to know yourself. So in a relationship, we're continuously learning. Even in my marriage of 8 years, I'm continuously learning my husband. I'm learning everything about him, because that's how I grow. And I'm learning about myself as well, that how do I feel about certain things. I'm learning that our relationship is teaching me more about myself. So it's very important to understand that in relationships, they're there for us to evolve, to make us grow as people, to make us better people actually. Because as you're learning, as you're growing, you're developing as a person. And you're also learning that you can compromise on certain things. You can accept your husband the way he is. You can accept certain things about him. And sometimes you cannot, and you now voice your opinion by using constructive communication techniques to voice your opinion to your partner, your husband, your spouse, that this is how I feel about a certain thing. You see, so communication is very important to show respect, but it's how you communicate. And normally say it's not what you say, it's how you say it that counts. So before you confront your husband with something, with an issue, just be mindful of how you speak. That's one of the tips I spoke about, right? So then respect is quite a important concept in our day-to-day life. So showing respect is not a complicated thing. It all comes down to listening to your partner and being kind to them. Right? Kindness is very important. If your partner wants to know where you are at all the time, frequently phoning you, and sometimes even is aggressive physically and even emotionally, then you need to understand that you are in a abusive relationship. And if you're in an abusive relationship, that person doesn't respect you anymore, doesn't respect you, your body, your mind, your space. So you cannot be now forced to apply the principles of respect when you're being abused. You need to address that issue and move yourself out of the relationship, or go for counseling. Let the man go for counseling, because abusive behavior is stemming from psychological imbalance. It's stemming from self-esteem, which is very low. It's stemming from a high overinflated ego. So your husband that's aggressive, violent, he needs to go for counseling. He needs to go for therapy to address these issues. So you sit down with your partner and you speak about these things. You do not have to be in an abusive relationship because you're trying to show respect. No, a man cannot hit you and say that he's hitting you because you don't respect him. No, that's not the way we solve problems in society. Abuse is wrong. If a man is having a problem with you disrespecting him, he must speak to you about it, and you too, you listen, and you find ways to solve and resolve those issues, not through violence. So, as I said before in my previous video, respect is not about you submitting to the person. Respect is about you accepting the person for who they are, right? And also understanding that person is different to you. Also understanding that person has feelings too like you, right? So respect means that you recognize your partner is a whole person and not just somebody that you can get something from. If you are in a relationship or in a marriage where you just feel that you need to just get from your husband all the time, that is not a sign of respect. You need to respect him for who he is. You need to love him and accept him for who he is. Okay, thank you so much for listening to my video. I'll stop right here. I hope the tips and this video is very helpful. It's to make your relationship better and your marriage better. Thank you so much for viewing and tuning into my channel. Thank you. Goodbye.